We're going to work some bills, and this week is really a lot of hearing, working, and trying to work through as many bills as we can. There may be some amendments coming that we're not quite prepared for yet, so that may change our order, but we're trying to do this numerically so that it helps Eileen and so that you all can keep track as well. So today we will open the hearing on House Bill 2087, and Eileen, would you like to give us a quick brief on that? I think you'll all recognize it. Oh, no, this is a new one. We haven't heard this one before. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Sorry, threw you off, didn't I? So sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, committee. House Bill 2087 would amend current law to allow certain non-admitted insurers to provide motor vehicle liability insurance to motor vehicle dealers and to place other business in the state. The bill essentially replaces the phrase "insurer not allowed to do business in the state" with "eligible non-admitted insurer," and would require the commissioner to maintain a list of eligible non-admitted insurers for review. The bill also makes changes to capital requirements for such insurers to appear on the list, and would remove the $200 filing fee required of such insurers to submit their annual statement for review in order to be included on the commissioner's list. Finally, the bill states that a non-admitted insurer, one that's not included on the commissioner's list, would be able to do business in the state if the non-admitted insurer meets the eligibility requirements of 15 U.S.C. Section 8204, which is the section on the Federal Code on Commerce and Trade pertaining to uniform standards relating to non-admitted insurers. So Section 1 amends KSA 8-2405 pertaining to liability insurance required of motor vehicle dealers. And under current law, in order to be licensed in Kansas, a dealer must carry motor vehicle liability insurance. If that insurance lapses or is canceled, then the dealer's license is also canceled. This section would authorize an eligible non-admitted insurer to also issue such insurance. Section 2 amends KSA 40-246B pertaining to excess lines coverage insurance and the requirements for brokers to be licensed, as well as disclosures that must be made when surplus lines coverage is placed. In this section, amendments were primarily made to update the language, as I said, from insurers not authorized to do business in the state to eligible non-admitted insurers. Section 3 amends KSA 40-246E pertaining to the commissioner's list of eligible non-admitted insurers, and the bill updates the capital requirement for such an insurer to appear on the list, increasing it from $4.5 million to $15 million. This section would also eliminate, as I said, that $200 filing fee for an eligible non-admitted insurer to file its annual report in order to appear on the list. The House Committee on Insurance passed the bill with no amendments, and the House Committee of the Whole passed the bill unanimously on February 20th, and I can stand for questions.
Thank you, Eileen. Committee, questions of the reviser? I don't see any, Eileen. Thank you very much. Very good. Okay, so we have a proponent in-person testimony today from John Meats, who's not available. So we've got Beth Smoller subhitting for him. So welcome, Beth. You want to introduce yourself?
Of course. Thank you, Chairwoman. Beth Smoller, Kansas Association of Insurance Agents. I am pinch hitting for John Meats, who was ready to go last week, but you all had other bigger bills to be working on. So you're stuck with me. Eileen did a great job of summarizing HB 2087, so I will try not to take too much time so you can work the other bills you have, but it is primarily technical cleanup and changing language from saying not authorized to eligible non-admitted. In reality, it's the same term, but it's eligible non-admitted is the terminology that the NAIC's Model Act uses. It's also the terminology used in the Federal Non-Admitted and Reinsurance Reform Act. So it's just bringing the language within our statutes in line with NAIC and with the federal laws. And as Eileen said, I would classify the biggest non-technical change is changing that statute in Chapter 8 car dealers can have their insurance with eligible non-admitted insurers. Right now, they can only put it with admitted carriers. There are only currently 2 admitted carriers willing to write liability coverage for vehicle dealers in the state of Kansas. That's a problem, especially if you're a new vehicle dealer or you want to open one up, or if you have a new location, or if you have anything that's just a little gray and not black and white. And so eligible non-admitted insurers would give our small business owners, car dealers, more options when purchasing their liability coverage. Eligible non-admitted insurers also do that same thing for all other kinds of businesses. They're basically a backstop for the insurance sector. If you can't get coverage with an admitted carrier for any reason whatsoever in the property and casualty sector, then a non-admitted insurer is where you're eventually going to end up. And with that, I will stand for whatever questions you may have.
Committee questions? Senator Warren?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for appearing today to provide testimony. Do we have these eligible carriers? They're going to be later admitted, or they're going to stay eligible and don't have any intention to be admitted later?
Great question, Senator Warren. For the most part, these non-admitted carriers will stay non-admitted, and many times they are related to an admitted carrier. For instance, Nationwide, a carrier that many of you may know from their commercials, they have what I would classify as sister company called Scottsdale Indemnity Company. Scottsdale is a non-admitted carrier in Kansas and non-admitted in all 50 states as far as I'm aware. They have no intention of making that an admitted carrier, but they keep that carrier separate capital requirements, because one of the benefits to being a non-admitted carrier is they have a little more flexibility when it comes to rates and forms, because those rates and forms don't have to be filed and approved by the Department of Insurance.
So you're okay with them being eligible but not admitted, and that works for the industry?
It does. It's a great question. Again, it's a very important part of the industry because there are many exposures. Think of your off-the-wall things. Tina Turner's legs were insured by a eligible non-admitted insurer. If you manufacture fireworks, Nationwide and other admitted carriers do not want to cover that kind of thing, so that will go to your eligible non-admitted insurers as well.
I've learned a lot today, and you did mention the Nationwide commercials, and I won't ask you to sing the jingle on the microphone, so thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Senator Gossage.
Also, too, I believe, if I'm right, I don't write property and casualty, but this is like a separate risk pool. So it helps to keep Nationwide's risk pool to where they can keep the rates lower if they were trying to put all of them into one pool. So this is kind of a separate kind of high-risk pool, if you will, correct?
Yes, I think that's an accurate representation, Senator Gossage, and I just used that particular carrier as an example, but most carriers have that separate non-admitted side where they can put the less desirable stuff, and that way the admitted company can keep its rates more stable and hopefully not increase them as much, although given your own homeowners and insurance auto rates the last few years, you know better than that.
Great questions, good information. Does anyone else have any questions of our proponent testimony? Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So in our packet, you have written proponent testimony from Chris Peterson. I encourage you to take a look at that. We have no opponents. I see no neutral. Is there anybody here wishing to speak to this? Okay. No more questions, committee. I will close the hearing on House Bill 2087. Thank you so much. That was very interesting. So, committee, we're going to move to bills that we have previously heard that we want to work to determine whether or not we're going to move them out of committee or not. We'll take the first one, will be House Bill 2333. And Eileen, would you like to do just a quick briefing on that? Thank you. Yes, you can hand those out for sure. I got one. Eileen, we're ready for you whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 2333 is the bill that would rename the Kansas Insurance Department, the Office of the Securities Commissioner of Kansas, and the title of the Securities Commissioner of Kansas. As you recall, the bill also removes the requirement for Senate approval for the appointment of the Securities Commissioner of Kansas. Just as an aside, the reason why I asked the chair to put this one out of order and have us work it first is because the bill is relatively not as important for the department, but for me, because we have a bunch of statutes that exist that need to be updated with the new name and new offices and such, and can't do that until the bill actually passes both houses and is signed. So I'm just kind of trying to move it in the order, in a quicker order, so we can hopefully get that done this session as well.
Okay. Committee, do you have any questions of the reviser? Okay. What is the will of the committee? Senator Gossage.
I believe, first of all, Madam Chair, that we pass the amendment out favorably, so I move that we do that.
Okay, we have a motion to pass out the amendment that changes the enactment date favorably. Is there a second? Senator Rose seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. Okay, amendment passes. We are back on the bill. This is House Bill 2333. Senator Gossage.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move we pass out House Bill 2333 as amended favorably.
Is there a second? Senator Francisco, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Okay, passes out. Thank you, favorably. All right, the next bill we're going to take a look at is House Bill 2044. I'll give you a minute to find that in your folders. We have two amendments being passed out on House Bill 2044. So we'll give it a minute. Eileen, would you like to brief us on 2044?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This House Bill 2044 is the bill, as you recall, that would require third-party administrators to maintain separate fiduciary accounts so that funds collected on behalf of or held on behalf of multiple payers do not have those funds commingled. This is also the bill that would require the Commissioner of Insurance to be notified of any bankruptcy petition filed by or on behalf of any third-party administrator.
Okay. Committee, any questions? Okay, we have two amendments that have been passed out. Do we need any explanation on those amendments? Are you comfortable with them? Okay, I'll take a motion, pick an amendment. Who would like to go first? Senator Rose.
I move that we pass the amendment changing immediately to, or at the time such filing is made.
Thank you. Is there a second to that? Senator Warren, is there any discussion on that amendment? I think you recall why we did this, right? Okay. So all those in favor of that amendment, changing immediately to at the time such filing is made, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, that amendment passes. Thank you. We have a second amendment. Senator Francisco, would you like to make the motion on the second amendment? You'd rather not? Okay. Senator Fagg. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On this amendment, we're changing from the statute book to the Kansas Register. And that's basically it.
Okay, is there a second on that amendment? Senator Rose, any discussion? All those in favor then signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, that amendment passes. Okay, now we are back on the bill. This is House Bill 2044. Committee, what's your desire on this bill as amended? Senator Fagg?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move that we move out House Bill 2044 as amended favorably.
Is there a second? Senator Rose? Sorry. Senator Gussis, I was just looking that way. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, so that bill passes out as amended. Right. Committee, the next bill we're going to take a look at is House Bill 2046. So I'll give you a minute to take that out of your folder. I might mention that Senator Argabright's going to carry House Bill 2044 for us. Thank you for that. Eileen, we're ready for you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 2046 is the bill that would allow travel insurance policies to be filed not just under inland marine lines of insurance, but also under accident and health, so long as the travel insurance provides coverage for sickness, accident, disability, or death that occurs during travel, either exclusively or in conjunction with related coverages of emergency evacuation or repatriation of remains.
Committee questions? Senator Warren?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question quickly for the revisor. Did the legislature create travel insurance just a few sessions ago?
I
Did
wanna say-
something with it.
Yes, it was enacted last year under the NAIC's model.
There we
Travel
go.
insurance.
And I was just going to say, I remember that, and I'm glad we did that. I think it's helpful for Kansans, and especially as Kansans travel. And I, for one, am glad to see this little bit of cleanup and how we can get that insurance coverage here better provided in Kansas. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have an amendment. Senator Gossage, did you want to make that a motion on that amendment?
I'd be happy to. I move that we pass out the amendment.
That's changing it to the Kansas Register. And we have a second from Senator Argabright. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay, that amendment passes, and we are now back on Bill number 2040, House Bill 2046. Senator Gossage?
Madam Chair, I move we pass out House Bill 2046 as amended favorably.
Is there a second? Senator Fagg? Yes? All those, is there any discussion? I thought I saw your hand go up. I'm sorry. I can't keep track of everybody. Is there any discussion on that? Senator Haley?
Information.
Yes?
Approximately how many shells will we be creating so far from this? I mean, I see we've gotten 2 or 3.
We don't have a final plan on that. We're just,
Wondering what number this one would make.
well, I don't know. We don't know yet because they're not all going to be shells necessarily. It's just, we've got mirror bills, companion bills.
Okay, I'm just curious, I'm looking down the road. All right, thank you, Madam.
Are you hearing these words in many committees?
I'm seeing them in pieces and wondering where it's all going to collide at the end of this abbreviated session.
Yeah, I understand completely. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of passing out House Bill 2046 favorably as amended, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Right, bill passes. Thank you very much. Committee, we are not going to do House Bill 2047 to work it today because we have some additional amendments coming, so you might just kind of hang on to that one. We're going to move to House Bill 2048. 2048. Eileen, we're ready for you whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 2048 is the bill that would eliminate the requirement that the Commissioner of Insurance submit those two different reports to the governor. Additionally, the bill strikes certain specific entities from the definition of person in the insurance enforcement statute, thereby kind of broadening the scope of, within words, of who qualifies as a person for purposes of enforcement of insurance law.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of the reviser committee? Okay. We have I'm sorry, Senator Francisco, I'm sorry.
Thank you. So when we heard this mirrored bill, or the Senate bill, that this is now mirroring, I did have an amendment. And so I just want, if the reviser, who's doing a pretty good job of keeping track of these things, can tell me if that amendment will be on the Senate bill passed by the House.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Francisco's amendment, instead of striking the first report required in Section 1, would require that the report be generated and then placed on the Insurance Department's website. That was amended on Senate Bill 27, which is the Senate version of this bill. The House Insurance Committee did pass that bill out with the amendment on it, so that effectively becomes the Senate position on the bill.
I appreciate that. Before we worked this, I just wanted that assurance.
That's a great question, though. Thank you for that. Any other questions on this bill? We do have an amendment. Surprise, surprise. Senator Gossage?
I move we pass the amendment for House Bill 2048 as presented.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a second? Senator Rose, any questions or discussion? Yes, Senator Haley.
Just think renew my inquiry to find out how many we're getting up regarding the shells that we're creating, because toward the end, keeping up with the numbers that change are kind of confusing
Yes.
to the
So
public.
that's our revisor's job.
Right,
So
right, exactly.
We'll lean on her.
I will look forward
Yeah,
to
sure, go ahead. You want to
we might end up with this one.
let her?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe just Senator Healy, I believe we started off with 14 mirrored bills, and then the House Insurance Department, or Insurance Committee, sorry, the House Insurance Committee requested some additional bills that were not mirrored here in the Senate. So when I'm being cagey about the number of shells, it's because I'm not sure how to kind of funnel those additional bills in. Basically, what I tried to do is not just have onesies or twosies in a certain vehicle. I try to group them, and I decide grouping on, one might be powers, duties, and functions of the commissioner, and then I find the different bills that would apply there. It's impossible for me to say off the cuff.
Okay. I'll accept that at this
Okay.
point.
Gives
to
us some
start coming together.
flexibility.
Right, it does. All right. Oh, yes, I'm familiar with the process. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. Mall.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Haley. I forgot where we are. Did we, on the amendment, okay. We had a motion, we had a second, we had discussion. All those in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, very good. The amendment passes. Now we're back on the bill. Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move that HB 2048 as amended pass out favorably.
Second? Second, Senator Francisco. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, passes out favorably. Okay, are we able to do one more at least? It's really, the reason I'm asking is because the revisor has amendments for some of these that we need to make sure that they've been prepared, not just date changes, but, so, our next one, 2050? Is that what you want to do, or 2049? You tell me. 2049, committee. And I do believe, Senator Rose, you're going to carry 2048 for us? Thank you. Do you like going numerically, committee? Does that make sense to you? Possible? Yes. I like it, but I can be a little OCD, so. Amendments are there? Two. Okay, we have two amendments on 2049. You should be receiving those. Okay, Eileen, would you like, we're ready for you whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 2049 is the mirror of Senate Bill 28. This is the bill that would create parity between public adjusters licensing statute and make it consistent with the insurance agent licensing statute pertaining to the suspension, revocation, denial of licensure, and licensure renewal.
Do you have any questions, committee? Okay, we've got an amendment. Remember the little conundrum over 15 business days versus 14 calendar days? So we've got, Senator Gossage, this is yours. Would you like to?
Yes, you just said it, Madam Chair, in that we had another bill similar that our friends over in the House got a bit zealous and decided, let's just change everything to 14 business days. But that actually doesn't make sense with what's in statute and what was agreed upon by the agents and the licensing and the insurance companies and the regulator with the Department of Insurance. So this just fixes that by changing that 14 days where it's inappropriate to 15 business days.
And it mirrors our Senate bill.
Yes, it does.
So this is a very strong Senate position. So I would take a motion, if you don't have any other questions about that change, that amendment, I would take a motion on that amendment. Senator Gossage.
I move my amendment.
Second. Senator Francisco seconds. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, that amendment passes. Thank you. Glad we were able to do that, because it makes much more sense. Okay, the second amendment is changing the date, the Kansas Register for enactment. I'm sure there are no questions on that. We've done it enough this morning already. Is there a motion, Senator Fagg?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we move the amendment as presented.
Okay, is there a second? Senator Rose, any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, that amendment passes. Now we're back on the bill, 2049. Committee, do I have a motion to pass the bill out? Senator Gossage?
We're tired of hearing from Senator Gossage today. I will just say that I would like to pass out, or I move we pass out House Bill 2049 as amended favorably.
Second? Second, Senator Argabright. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, passes out. Can we do one more, Eileen? 2050. We are making such good progress today. Thank you all. No, we're waiting on 2047 because of amendments. Yeah, ones we need, yeah. Eileen, we're ready when you are.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As introduced, House Bill 2050 would authorize the commissioner to set the amount of certain fees collected. As you know, the current statutory fee would turn into a ceiling for the fee amount, and then this commissioner would be authorized to set the amount of the fee up to and including the statutory amount. Then she would be required to announce and cause to be printed in the Kansas Register the amount of all the fees affected by December 1st. And the House Committee on Insurance amended the bill relating to the fee charged for each newly certified agent, which kind of started a hornet's nest of, let's make sure that we understand what newly certified agent meant and when or how frequently or how often the $2 appointment fee would be charged. And I believe there's an amendment on that.
Thank you, that's a good explanation. I think this is your amendment, Senator Francisco. Would you like to explain it?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and we are very lucky to have a reviser who's can kill hornets. So because this was quite a bit of discussion, but I think the concern was the additional wording that the House had added on page 3, lines 38 through 40. So I think this new wording clearly says it's a one-time fee for each newly certified agent. The fee shall be non-recurrent and constitute the only appointment fee charged for the duration of their employment with the appointing company. I believe this wording does do what the House was asking in a, for me, easier to understand way. And the good news about working on that is that we found other places in the same bill where they were charging a fee. So this wording is actually repeated for either the $2 or the $5 4 times in the bill.
Thank you for that explanation. Committee, do you have any questions? Does it make sense to you? Because we were struggling a little bit with that to make sure everybody understood what it meant. Thank you, Senator Francisco. Would you want to move your amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move my amendment.
Is there a second? Senator Gossage? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, no? Okay, thank you. Thank you. That was a little bit of a word salad there to try and get it figured out. So thank you for that. All right, we have another amendment. Kansas Register, Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move my amendment.
Is there a second? Senator, how about Senator Clues? I see you raise your hand. I don't look fast enough. Okay, Senator Clues. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, no. Okay, amendment passes. We're back on the bill 2050. Is there a motion? Senator Rose.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we pass House Bill number 2050 favorably as amended.
Second, Senator Cluse. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, no. Okay. That passes unanimously. Thank you. I think, if it's okay, I'll give you guys a little bit of a break. We've done 6 bills. We've heard one, passed out 6. So I think we will end our committee on that today. And is that all right with you, Eileen? Okay. And tomorrow, I don't have my agenda in front of me. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. What are we doing? Yep, we're going to work any bills that are left over. Yep. Oh, yes, that's the part I was forgetting. We are going to continue the hearing on the captive insurance bill tomorrow. We'll work bills first, then we'll do the captive insurance bill, and then we'll close that hearing out. And Senator Gossage has gotten some additional information on that bill as well. So we'll be able to, I think, put some closure on that tomorrow. All righty? Thank you so much. Committee adjourned.